So today's Saturday, I'm running a little late, so I thought I'd just do a low effort content video, whatever you want to call it. So I'm just going to do a vlog today and talk about a few things. Tell you what projects that I've been working on are coming up. So this is an engine someone gave me, just dropped it off up there in the yard actually. Yeah, I mean I caught him, so I knew he gave it to me. And it has a broken compression relief, so when you start it, the starter doesn't want to turn it over. So I had to order parts. It's taken a while to get the parts because of USPS. So this is what a camshaft looks like, and what is broken is the compression relief right here. So what happens is, as this turns, the lifter comes around this lobe and lifts up the valve, so it releases the compression when it does that. Well, then while you're starting it, there's so much compression in the cylinder, doesn't want to turn, so it comes around here and hits that right there. So it just bumps the valve a little bit and it pops up, and that way you can turn it, you know, as you're starting. But as this thing starts spinning faster and faster, this pops out from centrifugal force. And so when it does that, it makes this flush. So it keeps that from lifting that valve anymore. Well, this breaks on the Briggs & Stratton, all of them actually. This breaks quite frequently, so you got to replace the whole camshaft. Now this is inside the engine. So this is a one with an oil pump. So we'll take the oil pump off these bolts. We got to take the lifters out. We'll take these out, lift the sump up, and then this is going to be right inside. We'll just replace that. Those are expensive. That's about $100 just for that. Comes in this box. You got to buy the seal and the gasket. Comes with a new oil pump right here, right there, and lifters right there. So we'll put a new seal in, gasket in. We've got a new seal for the shaft here. So hopefully we can sell this or use it on a different lawnmower and we can make our money back. That's the plan. It's an expensive repair, but maybe we can make some money off it. It's a fairly new engine. I think it's a 2019, so it probably doesn't have a lot of hours on it. So this is going to be a 2-day project because I'm not going to, well, I should say 2-video project, not 2-day project. I'll get it all done in one day. But I also got to put a carburetor on this because the carburetor's bad. I already checked that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to rig up a gas tank like an IV, let it run down into the carburetor, and we'll start it up right here, well, actually on that block there. So like I said, it's going to be a 2-video project. We'll do the carburetor on the second day. And then we have a customer brought over 2 chainsaws. It's kind of interesting. They always bring chainsaws over in pairs. I don't think I've ever gotten just one chainsaw. So we got a nice $400 chainsaw here. And he brings it over, and it's in his car, so I go to pick it up. This is the safety. So if you look at a chainsaw that has all the pieces, you've got the brake, I should say safety brake. That's your safety brake. You got your brake and you got your handlebar. Well, here you got your safety brake, which isn't really even... I'm gonna have to set the camera down so we can get that to work. So right here we got the engagement of the safety brake. There it is. So we got to bring that up, but it's missing a bolt here on this side. So the guy was literally using the safety brake, which I didn't even see that is broken. I didn't see that. So he's using the brake as a handlebar. Very unsafe. So he brings it over and says it starts, but then starts sucking air. So I started up and it runs great. I mean, absolutely runs great. But then I see that the bar is heating up. You can see it discolored. this gear here has seized up. It is spitting out a lot of oil, probably too much oil. So it's not from a lack of oil, it's just an old bar. So I can even show you, this is where I started up at, and it was just shooting oil out. So the bar is getting plenty of oil. So I have to replace the bar, the handle, and once I got it running again, I heard what he was talking about. It was, but it only did it when it was really warm. You know, the chainsaw was warm. It ran 2 or 3, 4 minutes before it started up. So that's an ignition coil problem, not a carburetor problem. So had to order a new chain because I'm sure he's messed up his chain from it running so hot. New bar, that was pretty expensive. I think that was $60. A new handle and some screws and bolts and things to put it all back together. Had to order all that. And then when I told him about it, he says, oh, no, I don't want you to change the handle. I don't want you to fix the handle. Just make it run right. So I said, I can't give that back to you in an unsafe condition like that. So after a little bit of negotiation, I mean, he finally said, okay, go ahead and fix the handle. I mean, I just can't, in good conscience, give him a chainsaw that is that unsafe. I mean, I was scared to start it. It was so unsafe. But then he brought his Poland over, and it's not nearly as in bad shape. This just needs a new carburetor and some new fuel lines. So that was just a $50 parts. No, sorry, $25 in parts. $100 in parts, $25 in parts. So much more reasonable. The other thing I wanted to talk about today is, and I can't show you what I did. I mean, and I'm so proud of them. You can get on Amazon and you can order business cards and you design them yourself. You can get your own picture. You can place it the way you want, the whole thing, front and back. So I did that a while back. And they print them up for you. I think the business cards, there was 500. And they're pretty cheap. I mean, when I ran an actual business, I went to a company and I remember it was just really expensive for business cards. But this was like, I don't know, $30 or something. It wasn't bad at all. Very reasonable for 500 of them. The only problem is they don't save your print. So if I want to do business cards again, I got to redesign it. So hopefully I can do that again. But I wanted to get a yard sign, some sort of sign letting everybody know that I repair lawnmowers here. Well, a large sign was going to be pretty expensive, you know, a couple $100. But I got to thinking, well, what if I had a small sign? Well, nobody's going to be able to see a small sign. But they sold these small, like, election signs you see all over the place during election time. The coroplast signs, they're just peppered in everybody's yard. You can design those just like you did with the business cards, all by yourself. So, and they sell them in packages of 6, and the print is on front and back. Now you can put whatever you want on the front and back. I just kept it the same, front and back, and I lined the whole ditch up, along the whole property with all 6 signs, so it's front and back. And I got you may remember that John Deere I restored. It was an old 1980s John Deere. I restored it, so I got that as the picture. It's really pretty. It's not big. And then of course I got my phone number and the business name. So, but what I figured is with 6 of them, it would force people to slow down to see what the sign says, because there's 6 of them. They all look identical. So if you're running by fast, you can't really see what it's saying. But when you slow down, you can read it, and at least get an idea of what it is we're doing here. You can definitely see that John Deere picture pretty good. So I'm pretty proud of them. I wish I could show you, but it's got my phone number on it, and it would be non-stop harassment. I would never get an ounce of peace. So that was pretty exciting. Thought I'd talk about the beast for a second. There's screws in the... Don't want that. Screws. I've dropped a ton of... I probably dropped more screws than I used in the house. And I'm always picking them up. So, the beast, real quick. It was interesting. I've watched these YouTubers for a long time, and most of them started their channel when YouTube first came out, you know, the 2010s. I didn't start my channel until 2017. So back then, you started channeling, you were even halfway decent, you got millions of subscribers pretty quickly. So, you know, they made a lot of money. So these YouTubers that are still around have lots of money to spend. So they buy big equipment, huge equipment, backhoes and different things. Well, a little channel like mine, I started in 2017, and I don't make near the views they make, but I also don't have the equipment. So as their channel grew, they were able to grow their resources to continue to grow their channel. I can't do that. It's just a different environment. I'm not complaining, I'm just saying it's a different environment, and one that has to be dealt with, and just realize today's YouTubers are not like the old YouTubers. It's just not the same. So, equipment. Well, the Beast has made a huge difference in my channel. When I use the Beast, people really like the Beast. Now, the Beast, for those that don't know, is a lawnmower. It's a garden tractor, actually. It's what it's called, is a garden tractor. It has some heavier duty engine. It's got a 22 horsepower engine, which isn't even the biggest engine they sell anymore. I think that 24 horse is the biggest now. This was made back in 2000. It's got a 50-inch deck on it to mow with. Now, just like back in the 70s when they made those garden tractors, the wheel horse, for example, the wheel horse had a really beefy transmission on it, made out of cast iron. So that's what they've done with this, is they made everything a little bit more beefy. The transmission is much stronger on this garden tractor, much stronger than the John Deere. It just doesn't give up as easy as the John Deere does. The John Deere, you have to run, if you're hauling something, well, here's the difference. This can pull 500 pounds, the John Deere can't. Whereas the garden tractor can pull 1,500 pounds. Which is a huge difference. I mean, that's 1,000 pounds more. So the other day I was pulling wood out of here, firewood, and I had this trailer loaded up. And of course you don't get a lot of tongue weight because the wheels are in the center, but with the tractor tires, it just crawls out of there. It's incredible. The thing I kind of wish they would have done, if you get on an actual tractor, it has a differential lock you step on. At least the one that I played with, it was a Ford. You could step on it and it would make both wheels turn at the same time instead of just one. That way you could get two-wheel drive. I mean, certainly two-wheel drive out of it. Well, you can't do that with this. So what you do, and it seems to work, is if one of the tires just starts spinning, you just shift your body weight over that tire, and it seems to help. But you can see it's really digging in. It does a fantastic job. Well, the Beast has really made a difference, at least in the comment section. People really like the Beast and the way I've been using it. And the thing is what's so nice about it is I spent $200 on this. I'm a little bit more on it now. That's starting to rust. That's a bummer. Keep it up like that in case it rains. So, you know, if you buy this, there's something equivalent to it, you're going to be up $5,000–6,000. This one for 200 bucks. And it's had some problems. I say 200 bucks, that's not true. I bought it for 100 bucks. Put $200 in it. A little bit more than that now, probably 225. And you just keep up with the problems. I mean, the ignition coils went out. There's another 25 bucks. I just showed you that I replaced those a while back. But it doesn't leak oil. It's a solid engine. Yeah, you know, the trolls, they just love to pick on you. And they think that since I had to fix those ignition coils that I made a mistake on this. And I don't know what I'm talking about. I mean, it did run great. Ignition coils just go out. They get old, they go out. And that's what happened. So for little money, I might be able to improve my channel if I figure out how to make this more part of the channel. And kind of like these big YouTubers with the backhoes and the bobcats and all that stuff. I don't know. Somebody said something the other day, and it was great. I loved it. Went down there with this little puny chainsaw, and I cut down that leaner, that walnut. It leaned way over, and I just punched a hole into the side of it and strapped it out. Most YouTubers have a big old steel chainsaw. I mean, the guy I'm sitting here thinking about lives in Oregon. The only thing he cuts is pine and I don't know, Douglas fir. I don't know what but none of this hardwood like oak and walnut. There's no hardwood. There's very little hardwood wood up there. And he's got this monster steel chainsaw, probably $1,000. And you can tell that he is thinking about buying the latest and greatest that has the fuel injected one. And I'm like, why? Why do you need anything that fancy? I don't see it. I don't understand why you want anything that fancy. I'm quite happy with my little cheap one, but it doesn't get views. Everybody wants the biggest and the best. So he was saying, I don't know how you cut that tree down without a 25-inch bar on your chainsaw and 1-ton dually, and I forget what else he said. Oh, wood skid. I don't know. And it was hilarious. I mean, he's absolutely right. Of course, he puts LOL behind it. That's how people think. The only way you can cut a tree is, you know, you have a case of beer, 10 guys standing around so the tree can fall on them, everybody telling you how to do it, and the best equipment in the world, and the tree ended up killing somebody or falling on the house. Just so if you'll click this up next box, it'll take you to a video where I was working on something. So hope I can inspire you. Just have a good time so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.